Hello out there, you wonderful people. This is Andre, the Game Idea Guy. Thank you once again for lending me your time and your ear, joining me for another Gamers Thoughts discussion. And this is number 200 on that playlist. Video number 200 for this series of videos. And I'm back to talking about people pushing their preferences onto other people, because that is still a thing. And again, I don't get why people do it. I really, truly do not understand why people do it. I don't get why there's so much arrogance out of people that they think it's okay for them to espouse their preferences on something over someone else's, and basically to tell them, nah, you're wrong for having this preference and mine is the right one to have. It baffles me that there are people that are that arrogant and think that that's cool and that that's okay. And it's a different thing from saying, ooh, this would be something cool, and I hope a lot of people get into this. That's one thing that is far different than what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about is when you espouse what you like and say, well, everything that you guys like is wrong because what I like is this. And I feel like that's become a major thing because of YouTube. That is a major thing because of YouTube. Because people got known for being gamers. They got popular, somewhat popular for being gamers. So now that they have this notoriety, they feel like their opinions and their thoughts matter more than those of other people who may not be as popular or may not be as known. And to me, that's bullshit. Yes, and I had to say it slowly like that on purpose. And I remember my very first video for this playlist, this series of videos, was forcing preferences and talking about why it's dumb and why it's not something you should do. Here's the best way to put it. Here's the best way to put it in my eyes. If you're trying to force your preferences onto someone else, you're making it impossible for you to see why they like something. And if you can't see and appreciate why somebody likes something, you're making yourself incapable of learning from them. And if you can't learn from them, then on top of that, on top of having an arrogant thought process and believing my way or the highway, you are now also cutting yourself off from brand new experiences and learning something new, or maybe finding a reason that you might like something that you didn't like before, because you're cutting off the thought process of any outside information coming in. Now, there's differences between taking in information and then deciding that information doesn't serve you any purpose. There's a difference between that and just wholly saying, well, what you're thinking and what you're doing, what you like, doesn't matter because what I say matters, and that's the only thing that matters. That's an arrogant attitude. And I can see, even with what I'm saying right now, people will look at me and be like, well, Andre, don't you take a similar stance? No, honestly, I don't. And this involves criticisms, and it's making me think about something where somebody just recently talked about my Angry Joe video and talking about how I thought it was wrong for him to basically do behind the scenes work for The Witcher 3 and then not in his review mention that he worked on the game at any capacity. That should be in the review. It should appear on the screen in the review in some way, shape, or form. Whether Joe outright says it himself, Angry Joe, outright says it himself, or if just a little subtext pops up on the screen at some point and says, I worked on this game as a voice actor for the troll. It should be in the review, the medium in which everyone is consuming the review, not put down in the description somewhere that people will see, possibly. It's just one of those things where you look at it, that shouldn't have been done. And I had done a video on that, and I presented that opinion. That video has given me many different arguments. It gave me an argument about my introduction being too long for one person to argue with me about it longer than the introduction possibly played out. And then people being mad at me because I said what Joe did was wrong. It's dishonest. It is dishonest because you're not hiding that you worked on it in the description of the video is not telling people. It's putting it in there as an aside. Like, oh yeah, for anybody that possibly looks at the description, because not very many people do. Because honestly, with some of the descriptions I've put on my videos, if people actually read my descriptions, they'd probably laugh at some of them and make mention of it in the comments section. Because sometimes my descriptions don't actually have anything to do with the video itself. It's just me rambling in the description to put some text there. I'll be honest about it. Sometimes I do that. But when people get angry because you don't like their favorite YouTuber, or you give an opinion that's negative about their favorite something that their favorite YouTuber does, they're emotionally attached to these people, whether they want to say so or not. And it's okay to actually have that emotional attachment because you seek them out for entertainment. You seek them out to make you feel better. So I can understand why you might have an emotional attachment to them in some way, shape, or form. But that isn't me. But I got recently told that I should take that video down because it was incorrect, which technically it's not incorrect. I did make a mistake on saying that he didn't at all put information out there about him being in the game, which I made a correction video to, and I linked said video in the description, as well as I think I posted a comment that links that video talking about it so that people can see it. And if I didn't, I should go back and do that. But either way, I made it available that I corrected myself on that issue. But I get told, well, you need to take this video down and redo it. Like, what's the point of me taking down the video and redoing it when I was being honest in the moment? And I don't think people get that. Like, I was being honest in the moment about what I thought. And I still feel that way. I was just incorrect about a particular detail, which I went back and corrected. And I've done that many times. So I don't have a problem with being wrong if I gain something from it, if I learn something from it. I have a problem with being wrong. I do have a little bit of arrogance in myself where I don't like to be incorrect. And I'm willing to admit that. I don't like to be wrong. But if I am wrong and I can be shown I'm wrong, I have no issue with correcting myself. And when people argue with me like that argument with that Angry Joe video, and I'm pointing out why I'm not going to take the video down and why I'm not changing what I said to suit what everybody else wants, especially from somebody who's going to use, well, he has this number of subscribers and you only have this number of subscribers. Using that same logic, looking at the number of subscribers I have, you have less than me. Why should I listen to your argument? It's illogical. It's an illogical argument to make. Just because you're more well known, your opinion shouldn't matter more. It means your opinion will reach more people. Doesn't mean that your opinion should matter more. I'm sorry I went off on that tangent, but it is in ways related to this. It is in ways related to this because people talk about their preferences, whether it's on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, any social media. And there are people who become well known and they spread their opinions and say things that without thinking about, like there are, gosh, that came out of nowhere. There are impressionable people out there who will hang on every word that they're saying. And these impressionable people will then take what they're saying and try to spread it to other people and start fighting and arguing with people because such and such YouTuber said these things, and obviously they're right because they're popular, right? Wrong. Makes no sense. Makes no sense to take that standpoint. It makes no sense to make that argument. Just I know it was on Twitter. I can't even remember who said it, but there was somebody and I think I know who it was. Okay, it was Alpha Omega Sin talking about Broken Games HD, and I kind of agree with Alpha Omega Sin. I don't agree with the way he went about saying this, but he basically said because Broken Games said he doesn't get why people want to play older games. They play them on the old hardware or whatever. They don't need to have these games come back. They shouldn't need to have backwards compatibility. I disagree with that notion. I disagree with it on the premise that just because a game is old, it's not good to play anymore. Or the idea that because you played it and beat it, you should never touch it again. Like, maybe you like that game enough that you want to play it again. Maybe you like that game enough that you want to re-experience it, or you want to explore all the nooks and crannies that game has to offer. Maybe you like it enough that you want to show it off to other people and commune with people that have similar interests to you. That's the whole point in gaming. That's the whole purpose behind gaming. If you can't share the experiences that you have with it and the reasons that you like it, then there's no purpose to it. So yes, going back and being able to play older games or older versions of games that may have been updated, that is still the prerogative of the person playing. And if companies are aware that people like that and they offer it to people, they offer it any way, shape, or form, which is what Sony is trying to do with the PS5, offer full backwards or as full as they can, backwards compatibility with all of the other PlayStation platforms, I think it's a good thing. Doesn't mean that you as the consumer who wants the newer stuff has to worry about it. It's just an additional feature that you may not use. Simple as that. But downplaying the thought that anybody else wants to go back and play their older stuff, I think that's ignorant. And it's ignorant because you're choosing to sideline the possibility that anybody may want to play these older games or may want to share these experiences with other people. You're diminishing to them. You're putting out basically that what they're doing is stupid and is diminished. Which is my stance is the opposite of that. It's stupid to tell people how they should enjoy their games and how they should look at games and what they should enjoy. I feel like that's stupid. But I'm not sitting here trying to shoot down that you have this opinion. To be honest, I just disagree with you. You disagree with me. I disagree with you. But hey, the thing is, if we can accept those disagreements, then we can both still enjoy the medium in the ways that we like. But when you put it out there and then you don't like the response that you get from it, you just gotta deal with it. Yeah, you can explain, just not my preference. Cool. Everybody gets that. Nobody's gonna argue with you over your... Take that back. People are gonna argue with you over your preference. But if you put it out, it's my preference not to go back to playing older games that I've already done away with. Fine. But coming out and basically telling everybody who might enjoy playing their older games that they're dumb, and essentially, you're going to get that kickback. And that's why I consider it trying to force your preference on other people, because you're trying to tell people that they should do things the way you do it. I don't agree with that. I wholeheartedly don't agree with that. No one should be forced to do something the way other people do it just because other people do it. Or because maybe this person is popular and this is their opinion. To me, that's dumb. And I will say that. Everyone should be allowed to be who they are. Within reason. As long as you're not hurting anybody or causing someone else pain. Everyone should be able to be who they are. And that is my stance. You don't have to agree with that stance. But at least it should be understandable why that is my stance. So, again, looking at it, it's just a thing I don't get. And I'm explaining why I don't get why it would bother somebody if other people want to play their older games. They're not you. They don't control what you purchase. They don't control what you get to play. They don't control what you enjoy. So why does it bother you so much that they have a different preference than you? That's really the whole thing I'm not understanding here. Why does it bother someone so much that other people have a different preference? To me, like, that's what makes the community so fascinating and interesting, is that people can have different opinions on certain things. You could outright love a game that I totally hate, and you can explain to me why you love that game. I can at least respect that that's your opinion on it, even if I don't agree with it. But the moment you tell me I should play this game because such and such reasons, and I tell you I'm just not really into that, it's not really my forte, it's not what I like, but then you still push that point, I'm going to do away with talking to you. Because you're just going to irritate me. And I don't want to repeatedly discuss with you the same thing over and over again when I've already told you, no, I don't want to do that. I don't like this particular series of games, or I don't like these particular types of games. That's why preferences exist. Preferences are just natural biases. That's literally it. If people really want to break it down to what it is in a mental, psychological thought process, your preferences are your biases. And people have to learn to accept that people have different biases from each other. And I'm not saying not criticize people for having those biases. If you're going to, at least do it in a manner that's, palatable for people. And not come off as shooting them down or shooting down what they like because you don't like it. Simple as that. But I'm done here. It's funny how I go back to something I've already talked about this subject twice. And I'm coming back to it again because people are still doing it. But that's it for me. Thank you guys very much for listening. Keep your eyes and ears out for more stuff from me. And until the next time, please enjoy your games and peace out.